Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I enjoyed listening to my Republican colleagues talk about the Constitution and how a bill becomes a law. I taught freshman civics, and a bill passes both chambers. The bill then goes to the President. The President then signs the bill. It becomes a law. The job of the Chief Executive is to enforce the law as signed and as passed. Like the 1982 Nuclear Waste Policy Act, it is the law of the land. The amendments passed in 1987 identified Yucca Mountain as the sole geological repository for nuclear waste in this country. The problem is it's not being enforced by the President, who's complicit with the majority leader in the Senate, Senator Reid, in stopping the project. So over the past year, I've been coming down to the floor and identifying where we at on the status of what do we do with high-level nuclear waste. And I've gone through the whole country. I have identified all the senators and where they stand. We actually have a majority of senators, 55 of them, who support high-level nuclear waste and Yucca Mountain being stored there. We have 23 that either have made statements of no, or 22 that we don't know their position. Can you imagine being a U.S. Senator on a very important position, never having to state your position on what to do with high-level nuclear waste or defense waste, especially if it's in your own state, and never being forced to come to a position? So over the past year, we've been going around the country identifying all these locations, and now the time for truth has come to really start narrowing down on individual states and senators who should at least state their position. So I returned to my the next door neighbor state, the state of Missouri. I live in the St. Louis metropolitan area. I represent parts of 30 counties in southern Illinois, but I'm very close to the state of Missouri. In fact, I root for the Cardinals, the Rams, the Blues, and if the University of Missouri is not playing the Fighting Illini, I'll root for the Missouri Tigers. So Missouri has a nuclear power plant called Callaway, and what I did months ago, I came down on the floor, these are old posters, and compared Callaway to Yucca Mountain. Right now, Callaway has 650 metric tons uranium of spent fuel on site. Yucca has none. Waste will be stored 1,000 feet underground. Waste is being stored in pools above ground. Waste would be 1,000 feet from the water table. At Callaway, it's 65 feet above the groundwater. At Yucca, the waste would be 100 miles from the Colorado River. At Callaway, it's only 5 miles from the Missouri River. So the state of Missouri needs an answer by their elected members of what should they do, how should we handle the nuclear waste at Callaway. Well, Senator Blunt has already stated his position that he supports moving nuclear waste to Yucca Mountain. In fact, in a floor vote just 2 weeks ago, 8 of the 9 members of Congress, a bipartisan majority, said nuclear waste should be in Yucca Mountain, or at least we should finish the scientific study to see if it's feasible versus keeping it in Missouri. The members of the House who voted in support of the Shimkus Amendment was Representative Aiken, Representative Clay, Representative Cleaver, Representative Emerson, Representative Graves, Representative Hartzler, Representative Long, Representative Luke Meyer. Of course, we know Senator Blunt supports it. Now we focus on Senator McCaskill. This is no surprise to her. I've talked to her personally about this, that there would be a time when eventually she needs to state, does she support high-level nuclear waste being stored in Missouri? Does she support a long-term geological storage underneath a mountain in a desert in Nevada? If she would make a statement, we could then move her from the undecideds to either a nay or a yay. And if a yay, that would bring us to 56. We're actually trying to see if we can get 60 United States senators to say, yeah, we support moving forward. We've only spent $15 billion. Start going back to 1982 to prepare, locate the site. Yucca Mountain is just not a mountain on its own, but it's at the nuclear test site. It's bigger than the state of Rhode Island, the federal ground, just federal property. And so we come down on the floor. We'll be doing this in the following weeks, highlighting individual senators who are either undecided, no commitment, no position on what high-level nuclear waste in their state, what should be the disposition of it, where it should go, and at least get them on the record as far as this issue. Again, this law was passed in 1982. The amendment passed identifying Yucca Mountain as the long-term geological repository was then signed in 1987. We would just ask the administration to follow the law. I yield back my time.